Stain giving out them L's like it's a bargain sale, especially to Ida this week, because when he says, save him first, that was a perfect way to showcase what was wrong with what Ida was doing in that given moment. When you think of heroes, when you think of powerful heroes and stories and all of that, you think of heroes that are people that go out of their way, rush into battle to save an individual. They will stand in front of someone and they will die to protect someone if that is the cost. That is what heroes do. And in this case, Ida realized instantly how flawed he was and what he did wrong. Soon as Stain stabbed him, pushed him to the ground, and is like, save him first. You came at me with selfish desires, reasons that were not of a hero. You wanted to harm me, you wanted to bring me down, not because I was hurting an individual, but because of your own selfishness. That right there shows what type of person Stain is. When he pointed at that dude that was unable to move, and he's like, save him, it's kind of like he's saying, I just exposed your ass. I just exposed you, and you're not fit to be a proper hero. So everything that Ida thought he was came crashing down. He really wasn't a proper hero. Maybe a long time ago he had a better understanding, but he's definitely fallen off that path and no longer going down the right path because of what he did in this episode and the last episode. So, Stain, as you can see, he is a villain, yes, but because of his ideology and his perspective on how heroes should be, it makes a little bit of sense, especially when he talks to Ida like, save him first, you know, what you doing? Save him first. And then after he's about to kill Ida, and Izuku jumps in, Izuku says some lines that's about, like, what a hero should do, and then he manages to fight Stain and do a massive blow to him. Even though it didn't knock him out, he still managed to hit Stain, and Stain's like, you're worthy of living, I cannot kill you. And in that moment, that kind of represents the difference between Izuku and Ida. And then Ida was able to realize this, and also the viewers of this episode will probably be able to realize what that scene was really meant for. It wasn't the fact that Izuku was able to fight back. What really showcased something there was that Izuku, he put his life on the line. Even though Stain, he's the villain in this situation, obviously, he's looking at Izuku that jumps in, he's like, you know, you're saying a very good line for a hero. But if you don't back off, I will be forced to kill you. That's what he says. He's basically threatening Izuku's life in that moment. He's like, regardless if you're being a good hero or not, I will be forced to kill you if you continue to get in my way. And it's kind of like Stain was, you know, manipulating Izuku, trying to get in his head to see what type of person he was. And as Izuku eventually started saying, like, what he needs to do and how he needs to protect people, when he jumped out of his way and then he started hitting Stain, or tried to hit him, and then he landed a blow, it represented the fact that he isn't just all talk, which is why Stain is very mad with other heroes, not just Ida, but why he attacked Ida's brother. So let's get into that detail. So one of the big things that many might be wondering is, why would Stain attack someone that's honestly a good person? Seeing the flashback in this episode with Ida's brother, you could come under the impression that Stain was wrong to attack Ida's brother. Ida's brother seems like he was a really good person, he was a good hero, he was definitely someone that, you know, shine bright for many others. But at the same time, though, many might question, so this proves that Stain is wrong with his ideology, to just attack someone that is definitely being a hero. And in a lot of cases, he is being a hero. But here's where Stain's perspective is kind of warped. And that is the fact that Stain, he doesn't like how there's just so many heroes. As he says, fake heroes. There's too many fake heroes. And what are these fake heroes, so to say? Well, they're everybody that either is greedy, they want money, or they want their own personal gain from being a hero because of their title, or they just have a license. They went to some school to get a license. It's kind of like this. Let me put this in a little bit of a easier to understand details for I can kind of explain my point. Okay, let's say there was a hero school in real life right now, okay? Let's say you could actually go to school, college, whatever, to get a hero's license, and that means that you could somehow be a hero, and everybody would think you are a hero because you got the credentials for it. Well, in this case, everybody can go to school and become a hero, and that is not necessarily what a hero means. When you think of a hero, like I've said many times, you think of a heroic person that dives in, and they don't care about rewards, they don't care about, you know, gain, self-gain. All they care about is saving the people in front of them or behind them. That is what they want to do. And in this case, if you go to some fancy school and you get a hero license, that doesn't automatically make you a hero. Just because you have a fucking title doesn't mean that you are a hero. That does not mean or represent anything like that. And that is why Stain attacked Ida's brother. Because Ida's brother, even though he is a good guy, he is not a hero. And what I'm getting at is that this man, he wasn't strong enough or heroic enough to be a hero. In Stain's case, you can see that he views a hero with someone that is a symbol of strength, might, so to say, and that's why he respects All Might. And Ida's brother, as you can see, he's not very strong. He's not crazy powerful. He has to rely on others, which makes a lot of sense in a way. I mean, if you're not that strong, obviously you're gonna need others to make up for your weakness, but that's how real life should be. But Stain, when he views a hero, he views someone as being able to do the impossible, being able to stand up and hold their ground against impossible odds that just don't make any fucking sense. And that's in a lot of literature, a lot of stories when you think about it, and that is why he respected Izuku in that moment, because Izuku, even though he said some great heroic lines, it didn't automatically make him a hero, because he dived in. When he dived in and then he fought back, he wasn't just saying things, he wasn't trying to put up a mask to act like, oh, I'm a badass and all that, I can go in. The man actually tried to fight back. He calculated, thought about what he needed to do, and then he actually managed to lay it and hit a blow to Stain's head. So that right there showcases why Stain wants him to live, but doesn't care about Ida, or Ida's brother, because they just have a license, or they're trying to get their license. That doesn't make them a hero. Anyways, though, let's talk about the overall Stain moments with the fight with Todoroki and Izuku. Oh my god, the music, oh my god, the music was too fucking good. Like, oh my god, the level, the quality of the music was so good. I watched the episode 4 times today. I'm not even joking. I rewatched the episode 4 times because that is how good that soundtrack was in the entirety of this episode. It was just so phenomenal. When I saw these individual scenes and then Izuku thinking about what he needs to do, he's going through the process elimination, trying to figure out where he needs to go, how he can save someone and all that. He's trying to figure out what Ida's doing, and he has that realization. He pieces all the little individual information together to actually figure out where Ida was. That was a very good moment of this episode, and it fits so well with Izuku's character. And as I've said many times, and many anime onlys and manga readers know, Izuku is not a dumbass. He is not stupid. He's not a stereotypical shonen character that's all about bronze, beating you up and just moving on. He actually thinks about things, and when he comes to the conclusion to save someone, it's because he put a lot of thought into it. And so Izuku didn't just get there to save Ida out of nowhere. It wasn't just like some form of ass pull, like, oh, he's there to save, Ida at the perfect time. It wasn't like that. All of the pieces in this episode were perfectly built up for a couple of episodes now for Izuku to come in to save Todoroki. So, as you know, when you think of like stories like this, especially when a character's in trouble, like a side character or whatever, usually someone comes out of nowhere to save their ass, and you're like, well, that's kind of like, plot convenience. It's like very, very convenient that someone popped up to save this dude. But that isn't the case here. Izuku coming in like he did, it makes perfect sense because of the way it was set up, with how Ida, he kept saying certain little things of what he's trying to do, and how Izuku, he's a very intelligent character as well, but then also him traveling through training through the area. But then on top of that, we also have Todoroki too, which, joined up with his father just to see how he operates as the number 2 hero, so him being there also makes sense. So when you think about all of these little details, all of this build-up makes perfect sense, and it just didn't feel like an ass pull at all, and like it came out of nowhere that these characters showed up and saved Ida. It wasn't the stereotypical thing you would see in a normal manga or anime. Anyways, though, another big thing I want to talk about the development of the characters, okay? We already know Izuku has developed so much, and so I don't think I really need to dive into his exact development. He showcased that he is a very good hero. But I want to talk about Todoroki, because this episode really showed how much he has changed, but also how much Ida is going to change. As I said a while back, when Izuku fought Todoroki, it wasn't about winning the battle. That's not what it was about at all. Izuku dropped everything and didn't care. He just wanted to save a person. He was saving Todoroki in that moment. And that's exactly what Stain likes when you think about it. Well, when Izuku saved Todoroki, Todoroki has been developing a lot. He's been going out of his way to try to make himself change. He even went to his father's agency and tried to, communicate with him and see how he is, because he needs to understand that he is the number 2 hero, and he needs to see how it is, like how he actually operates in society. And so this is a very good learning experience for him. And in all honesty, the situation was very simple. The answer to what he wanted, what he was seeking, was very simple. But the case is that he didn't know how to take the first few steps up the stairs. He had no idea. But thanks to Izuku lending his hand down to Todoroki and pulling him up, Todoroki is now going down the proper path. He is moving forward with his life. He's able to understand what he used to not be able to see. Now, because of this development, we have to look at Ida now. When Todoroki is sitting there standing up, he's using his fire side, which represents he has moved past that little issue he had with his father. He hasn't forgiven him, obviously, and that's going to take a long time to forgive someone that has done something like that to you and your mother. But he is trying to move forward. With him using his fire side, it represents that he is changing so much. He is going through so much development as a character. And when Ida's on the ground and you have it where Todoroki's telling him what's going on and how, the face he's making is, not what it should be. And then, he's telling him, how you must also have family issues just like myself. And he's kind of, opening up to Ida, telling him what needs to be said. It's kind of like Todoroki, in that given moment, was doing exactly what Izuku was doing to Todoroki. It's like it's come full circle. Izuku, he decided to be a hero. He jumped in. He saved Todoroki. He put this man down the proper path. Gave that man the proper push. Then, Todoroki, after now he's finally been saved, he's slowly changing, he is now saving Ida and putting him down the proper path. Do you see the cycle here? Thanks to Izuku's actions, what he has done, him putting Todoroki on the proper path has now opened up a whole new future for other characters. Because if it wasn't for Todoroki, changing, or Izuku causing this change, then most likely Ida could have died already in this episode. So that's what I'm getting at. I love how Horikoshi, the writer of Boku no Hero Academia, really dives into these characters and showcases that just one small thing, if it was not done, so much could have been different. And if Izuku hadn't decided to help Todoroki out, this entire episode would have been very different. Now, speaking of Stain's abilities, okay, let's talk about his quirk. So Stain's quirk is able to paralyze people. If he gets your blood and licks it, he can paralyze you completely. And at first glance, it seems like it's a very simplistic power. However, it's very OP, because regardless of how strong you are, you're going to get paralyzed. If you have blood, you're, a living, creature, you're probably going to get paralyzed. So, even someone like All Might would get paralyzed by Stain. For instance, if Stain was somehow able to get All Might's blood and then lick it real quick, that would automatically mean that All Might would be paralyzed. And that's just how crazy his quirk is. So Stain is not someone that you can clearly underestimate. Even though his ability may not be as flashy as someone like Bakugo or, like Todoroki in this episode, or even Izuku, it doesn't matter. You don't need to have a flashy quirk that's insane to be very powerful. And also, Stain represents something that our characters have been going through a lot this season of Boku no Hero Academia. As I've said already, many characters in this series, even though they have a powerful quirk, doesn't automatically mean that they're on top. They're going to instantly win every single battle. Even if, let's say, they're fighting someone that is, weak to them, it does not mean that that villain will fall. And the reason for this is because it's not always based on quirks that win the battle. A lot of times, it's also based on the person's capacity to think and realize how they can use their quirk to make the situation even better for themselves. In this case, let's think about Izuku, how he is finally learning how to use his quirk, how he's now being able to use everything of his ability throughout his entire body. He's able to use one for all. And because of this, he is now able to do things he normally wasn't able to do. And now he's able to strengthen his body and actually have different techniques because he's able to use his mind along with his ability. Especially with how he was able to maneuver in the air while he was fighting Stain, which represents how, once again, Izuku is someone that loves to take fighting styles from others, or he learns from others and how they fight. For instance, how he was, jumping over over Stain was very similar to what Bakugo did in his fight, how he was using his explosives to just change his, entire, I guess, range, or like where he was facing in mid-air. So that shows right there that it's not always about how powerful the quirk is. It actually comes down to the individual person, their ability to think and make the situation more into their advantage. And so Stain, having the ability like he does, to where he could just paralyze people, that is actually insane how he's able to fight Izuku and Todoroki. Now granted, Izuku and Todoroki, they're students. They're not full-fledged professional heroes. Still, the point stands is you gotta think about what Stain was doing in this episode. Remember what he said. He didn't want to kill Izuku. He did not want to kill Izuku. He was aiming for Ida, but he didn't want to kill Izuku. So that means that Stain did not have the intention to kill Izuku at all. Maybe harm him, but not the intent to kill. And when you are a person that's as strong as Stain, and if you don't have the intent to kill, obviously that gives you a big handicap. You're going to have a massive ass handicap. So the reason why Izuku or Todoroki have yet to lose is because Stain has acknowledged them as good heroes. Heroes that aren't just heroes by title, they are true heroes. And that is why you don't see them dropping dead instantly, is because he's actually holding back. He's not going all in because he doesn't want to kill these two, because they're at a young age, they can become much, much more, and so he doesn't want to end that right now. And so that is why you see him not just completely curb stomping them, is because he doesn't want to kill them, but he does want to kill Ida. So when you look at it like that, it just goes once again to show how powerful Stain is, for him to be able to fight these two even without even wanting to kill them. That's crazy. So yeah, overall, the latest episode of Boku no Hero Academia, completely badass. Can't wait to see what happens next in the anime. Love you all so much. Please be safe. Chibi out.